package of fern seed for Madalena's wing aches thumped in. Catching sight of the bust enhancer, his expression turned positively devilish. "Speaking of slutty," he started. "Well-endowed doesn't equal slutty, Jenks," I said. "Grow up. It's for the costume." "Like that'll do anything?" His grin was infuriating, and his hands were on his hips in his best Peter Pan pose. "You need 2 or 3 to even make an impression." "Fried eggs." "Shut up." From across the store came my mother's oblivious, "Solid black, right?" I turned to see her hair color shifting as she touched the invoked sample amulets. Her hair was exactly like mine. Sort of. I kept mine long, the wild, frizzy red just past my shoulders, instead of the close cut she used to tame hers. But our eyes were the same green, and I had her same skill in earth magic, fleshed out and given a professional stamp at one of the local colleges. She had more education than I did, actually, but had few opportunities to use it. Halloween had always been a chance for her to show off her considerable earth magic skills to the neighboring moms with a modest vengeance, and I think she appreciated me asking for her help this year. She had been doing great these last few months, and I couldn't help but wonder if she was doing better because I was spending more time with her, or if she simply appeared more stable because I wasn't seeing her just when she was having problems. Guilt slithered through me, and giving Jenks a glare at his song about big-busted ladies tying their shoes, I wove through the stands of herbs and racks sporting pre-made charms, each having a distinctive sticker identifying who had made it. Charm crafting was still a cottage industry, despite the high level of technology available to smooth out the rough spots, but one tightly regulated and vigorously licensed. The owner of the store probably only crafted a few of the spells she sold. At my mother's direction, I held each sample amulet in turn so she could evaluate my appearance. The clerk oohed and awed, trying to push us into making a decision, but my mom hadn't helped me with my costume in years, and we were going to make an evening out of it, ending with coffee and dessert at some overpriced coffee house. It wasn't that I ignored my mom, but my life tended to interfere, a lot. I'd been making an effort over the last 3 months to spend more time with her, trying to ignore my own ghosts and hoping that she wouldn't be so fragile. And she hadn't looked this good in a while, which convinced me I was a crappy daughter. Finding the right hair color was easy, and I nodded when my red curls turned a black so deep they were almost gunmetal blue. Satisfied, I dropped a packaged, uninvoked amulet into the basket to hide the bust enhancer. "I've a charm at home to straighten your hair," my mother said brightly, and I turned wonderingly to her. I'd found out in 4th grade that over-the-counter charms wouldn't touch my curls. Why on earth did she still have the difficult-to-make charms? I hadn't straightened my hair in ages. The shop's phone rang, and when the clerk excused herself, my mom sidled close, smiling as she touched the braid Jenks's kids had put my hair in this morning. "That charm took me your entire high school career to perfect," she said. "You think I'm not going to practice it?" Worried now, I glanced at the woman on the phone, the one who obviously knew my mother. "Mom," I whispered, "you can't sell those. You don't have a license." Lips pressed tightly, she took my basket to the counter in a huff to check out. Exhaling, my gaze went to Jenks sitting on the rack, and he shrugged. I slowly followed in my mother's steps, wondering if I'd neglected her more than I thought. She did the damnedest things sometimes. I'd talk to her about it over coffee. Honestly, she should know better. Streetlights had come on while we had shopped, and the pavement glowed with gold and purple holiday lights in the evening rain. It looked cold, and as I went to the register, I adjusted my scarf for Jenks. "Thanks," he muttered as he landed on my shoulder. His wings were shivering, and they brushed my neck as he settled in. October was too cold for him to be out, but with the garden dormant and Madalena in need of fern seeds, risking a trip in the rain to a charm shop had been his only recourse. He'd brave anything for his wife, I thought, as I rubbed my tickling nose. "How about the coffee house down 2 blocks?" my mom suggested as the dull beep-beep of barcodes being read clashed with the earthy smells of the shop. "Grab some air, Jenks, I'm going to sneeze," I warned him, and muttering things I was just as glad not to hear, he flew to my mom's shoulder. It was a marvelous sneeze, clearing out my lungs and earning a bless you from the clerk. But it was followed by another, and I hardly had time to straighten when a third hit me. Breathing shallowly to forestall the next, I looked at Jenks in dismay. There was only one reason why I would sneeze like this. "Damn," I whispered, glancing out the huge front window. It was after sun.